because I was sleeping. And he has to be part of the Shell station at Boone's Creek. When they get there, they go different ways. They meet there and all that.
And it's just.
Yes.
I didn't take time to change the shirt. I actually put that shirt on.
I love that.
First time you see me with that shirt.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, when I worked.
Hey, Kevin, you do testing?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
It may not be on, but you turn it on.
Is it on? Test, test. Sensitive.
I got your email today.
Okay, great. So, hopefully not something soon. I feel like we need to get moving.
Test, test.
I just don't know.
Why aren't you working?
I get what he's saying, though. I bet they do have to go through a lot of it.
Yeah. That's probably not coming across this one.
Different, isn't it? Yeah. I wish they would have just waited. They really didn't need to do that, I don't think.
Test.
Ready to start the work session.
I think there's almost.
Test, test. Test, test. We're gonna look like idiots on there.
I doubt anyone watching it, though.
Yeah. Well, you do. Test, test. Test, test.
Just perfect. Yeah, that door's
You do a good job with those, they're very thorough.
Yeah. Okay. We need a tall person.
I got a little nervous when I saw some cars, but then there weren't too many people there. Oh, I know, yeah. That's such a nice thing. Took that to get his first haircut. Good. We ended up just playing. They were using the first, but really well.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. I will call to order the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting for the town of New York for Thursday, February 23rd. We have an invitation by the Reverend Mike Penner from Uniform United Methodist Church. Thank you, Mike. And you know, there's a evening, y'all are feeding.
Yes, I want to say from 5:30 to 7:30 at our New Life Center on the fourth Thursday of every month, we feed the whole community with the hope that we're feeding hungry people. The bigger crowd we get, the more folks will come in, and we know we're feeding the hungry. So, if you will get this meeting over with as quickly as possible, please come to the New Life Center behind the Methodist Church. I understand the menu is baked ham, mashed potatoes, vegetable, dessert, and drinks. It's absolutely free. So I just want to give you some motivation.
What kind of dessert?
We have like 7 women
I'll say a little bit every day.
who provide, we just call them the dessert ladies. They fix all kinds of stuff. So you'll find what you want.
We may go.
We're having rolls, the whole 9 yards. So just want to say, we'd love to have you guys come down.
Thank you.
5:30 to 7:30. All right, let us pray. Father, I thank you that you've allowed us all the wonderful privilege of living in such a high quality and terrific community. Lord, I'm so grateful for the generations that came before that established this community and those whose lives have continued to contribute to the greatness of this community and the goodness and the godliness and the decency and the compassion of the people who live here. Lord, guide this town hall meeting tonight and guide our leaders here, that they may be able to continue to strengthen our presence and strengthen our future as well. All of this we ask in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and our Messiah. Amen. I've got to go pray for the food over there.
There we go. Thank you.
You're invited.
You may see some days.
Hey, we would love to have every one of you and pick up some people on the road on your way there.
All right, now we do pledge. If y'all all stand, I'll lead us in the pledge. Take our hats, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Ms. Kessler, you call the roll, please.
Alderman Lemon. Here. Alderman McIntosh.
I don't think you heard.
Alderman McIntosh. Here.
Here.
Alderman Redford. Here. Vice Mayor Cooper.
Here.
Mayor Boyd.
Here. Thank you. Okay, in your packet, you have a copy of the minutes from our January 19 meeting. And I assume you had some time to look over that. I will be seeking approval for that in the form of a motion. Motion to approve. Have a motion, is there a second? Second. A motion and a second. Is there any discussion about those minutes? Okay, seeing no discussion, let's vote.
Alderman Lemon.
Yes.
Alderman McIntosh.
Yes.
Alderman Radford. Yes. Vice Mayor Cooper.
Yes.
Mayor Boyd.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is to share with you, I think in your packet, you received a copy of the proclamation that I put together based on information WJHL gave us, that this year is WJHL's 70th birthday. It's actually in October, but they're going from community to community and just talking about the communities, having elected officials talk about the communities. I was at Steel Rails in Irwin yesterday morning, doing a little spot on their Daytime Tri-Cities. County Mayor Easley and Irwin Mayor White were on a 6 o'clock channel, or 6 o'clock time slot. I'm not going to it was fun, and I think we did good. Laura was my coach, and there's a copy of the proclamation in here. And it's just easy to read. I'm not going to read it out to everybody. It's in your packet. But JHL is, for fact, is good to us when we have community events and community activities. They are good to us about sharing that, promoting it. So that was a sincere thank you that I gave them for that. So anyway, that's in your packet. And I would like to do something for our police chief, but he is not here, so I'm gonna skip that for now. Can we go back? Everybody okay with that? Can I go back? Okay. Opportunity for citizen comments. I know you had something turned in. I don't know if it has anything to do with the topic or not.
Well, it's not here.
Huh?
Are you talking about the,
No, citizen comment.
yeah,
Okay. You want to do that?
yeah, I have Dennis Small.
Okay.
I'm going to give each one of you a packet. Hopefully you reach them. Thank you, sir. For those that do not know, my name is Dennis Small. I'm the Unicoi County Veteran Service Officer and therefore the Town of Bergen and the Town of Unicoi Service Officer. The Mayor's office has asked me to speak. I believe they're seeking additional funding, but that's the money people, not me. I just want to tell you what I do. In your packet, you'll see the website we created that's currently online. The backside of that page has all the contact information, and the third or the second page has a list of everything I did in the first 90 days, from November 1st till the end of January. You can see how extensive and varied it was. Veteran Service Officer is a unique position. There's a gentleman whose name I have permission to use, Harry Brett, that lives right down past the tomato place. He came to me with a plane crash from the 60s. Currently, he's drawing $2,000 a month. I had a young lady, young to me, who had a military sexual trauma, and she from the 80s. Currently, she's now 100%, I believe. I've got widows that owe $80,000 to the VA. We're trying to mitigate that. I've got a widow whose husband died in 1992 of Agent Orange related conditions when they weren't a condition. Now, from 92 to now, we are now trying to get her a DIC or a nothing called payment. So you can see what value it is to the community. These are people whose lives have been changed, and some of them will be devastated if you can't overcome it. So if you think it's worthwhile and see favorably for the mayor, that's up to you. I'm not a money person, I'm a people person. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do. That's a lot. Yeah, you'll know, that's a lot of evidence on that page right there. It's such a variety. It's never the same. Never the same. Thank you.
The Aflac one caught me by surprise. I've never seen that. The guy showed up at one of the buildings, VA for Aflac.
Okay, we'll see what we can do. All right, thank you. Was there any other citizen comments turning in?
No, the one I was talking about was the guy that came by that had the issue with the neighbor and he was gonna come, but he's not here.
Okay, all right. Well, then we will continue on with our agenda. No old business, no unfinished. We have some new business. There is a resolution 2023-349, which will sanction the 2023 Freedom Fest on July 4th. And that is just a process, our routine Freedom Fest celebration. If I have a motion for that.
That's what we're.
And a second? All right, and we will have discussion.
Would you like me to discuss?
Yeah, just let everybody be aware.
So, the school board will be starting construction on the new gymnasium for the elementary school. We will be meeting March 21st for that. There's possibility that, we will not be able to use those grounds contingent on construction. Hopefully that won't be the case. If that does happen to be the case, we do have a backup spot in mind, but hopefully that won't be an issue.
So if
It's
citizens,
just a precaution of safety.
so citizens come to you and say, oh, they're working on the school. We know, we're aware, and we're gonna work through that process, okay? We know, and yucky, but we know, and it may be difficult, but it'll all work, okay? All right, any other questions or comments, Marge? Are you looking forward to fireworks? Okay, we have a motion and a second to sanction the Freedom Fest as of July 4th. You will vote?
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman McIntyre,
Yes.
Alderman Radford. Yes. Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Boyd.
Yes. Okay, we are down to, oh, okay. Well, let's just wait for just 1 minute and let him get inside. We're waiting, I'm sorry, Nick Hughes is about to walk in. He pulled in. I have something for him. We're still in this other building. And everybody's wanting ham and mashed potatoes. Sounds pretty good, actually.
And we already ate some.
I don't have anything
Well,
to
yes.
put on it. Sounds like a pretty good idea.
Breakfast for dinner.
I'm just gonna lay out your things and get some food. Would you care to join me at the meeting? You came in just right.
You're in trouble for being late.
Uh-oh, okay. I saw you going up the road. I told you I saw you going up the road. Okay. Change the subject. Okay. I got a phone call, a few weeks ago, from someone pretty high up in our sheriff's department that was so incredibly impressed with your conduct and how you handled the terrible car accident out here in Wichita. That was a very torturous and very difficult situation. And this person said, if I were you, I would give him a commendation. And then he went on to tell me some of the things that he witnessed you doing, you know, how you handled things. I thought it was going to give a commendation as well. Well, we do a letter on it. Ready? Dear Police Chief Nick Hughes, on behalf of everyone in the town of Unicoi, I would like to formally and publicly express my gratitude for your outstanding efforts during the response to a car crash in our town on Monday, February 6th. Your commitment to the citizens of our town is without question, pure and honest. Your humble service to those injured in this crash was exemplary and did not go unnoticed. Although I was not present at the incident, I did receive a phone call from Deputy Sheriff Frank Rogers, who shared your actions in detail. Clearly, his respect for you was immense. From the day we hired you, we knew you were a fine man and law enforcement officer. There is no doubt your service comes from the heart. The comfort and emotional support that you offered this severely injured young man in the accident was service above and beyond the call of duty. You held his hand and prayed with him. He clung to you for support while he feared for his life. You were his rock. Thank you for showing your human side in the midst of this situation. You are answering a calling as a law enforcement officer, and the town of Unicoi is blessed to have you as part of our community. I wish the absolute best for you and your family, and I'm sincerely honored to acknowledge your heroic actions on that day. There is no doubt that you are not going to see right.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Speak. Yeah, just walk through the door, say.
Yeah, I just appreciate everything. It's what we do. It's probably law enforcement. Myself, my guys, we all step up to the call, and it's what we do. Like I said, appreciate everything y'all do for us. Thank you.
Good, yeah, second more.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Okay. Let's go to reports of committees now. I think Laura might have Austin Finch.
So Austin is in Nashville for TBA, and he contacted me to give out, you guys some information about economic development. He does want the board to know that they are in the final negotiations to get a deal signed for an industry in Newport. If the lease arrangement goes through, then the new company could move in as soon as summer. They are also keeping the town in mind for all recruit efforts for retailing.
Thank you. And that's the IMC building, right? I think IMC is relocating, so that building would be vacant, but I think it's gonna turn over in a pretty fluid process.
He did not give me the details on the.
I'm pretty sure that's, I don't know the details of one coming, but I think it's gonna be pretty fluid. There's not gonna be a big gap. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Thank you, thank you. All right.
Question, is that the only thing they're working on for us?
As an active in the forefront project at the moment. And that is high up on the list with economic development right now. There's other things down low on the list that are continual processing work. But those we're getting a lot more activity. So that's how they get reported.
Well, one of the things that I read in the paper that I got a little upset about. In the Tuesday, February the 14th, Johnson City Press, that's during all the liquor deals in Irwin. Michael Baker made a statement, it's been the intent of the Economic Development Board to recruit a brewery in Irwin. And he said breweries require off-premise permits. Well, we budgeted $22,909. And I guess I'm gonna ask, is that part of our money going to bring a brewery into Irwin? But we don't need Irwin to be a little asphalt. Just my feelings.
Well, that money doesn't, I mean, I haven't sat beside Austin and asked him to itemize for me the number of projects he's working on. I know there's a plethora of projects that he works on at any given time. I think I'm gonna suggest, I don't want to speak, with all due respect to Alderman Baker, that has been the agenda of some. Okay, I'm not really sure, I've never taken notes from an economic development meeting that had anywhere in my notes, we're trying to recruit a group.
Well, I was gonna ask
Okay.
Austin and Amanda, of course they didn't show up, but to me,
I think that was a little.
to me, that's not the purpose of economic development. That's just my thoughts. Okay,
Well, economic development is more than industry these days.
I'll realize that.
Okay,
I will.
there's been a thought it's all industry. That was, kind of assertive, and I think that was an attempt to push the idea. Does that make sense? I don't want to be disrespectful. But I appreciate you bringing that up. It's worth discussion. All right, Buffalo Valley, this one. You ready? You don't have, I mean, you want to say anything?
Yeah, we're working on projects for this year. And talks to the library, and we're getting involved with some of their stuff, bringing it up this way. And we're going to, since we've got some people that's coming in, that's sewing, we want to make some better attire for our group, for that we can do a better showing when people come out there. And we may even do a fashion show and get some of our aldermen to
Parade down the runway. Okay.
And, we're planning on putting out two better flagpoles, but we're still doing, working on that, and it should be up this year,
Okay.
sooner than later. And we're working on a pamphlet for our group that tells about comings and goings of what we're doing.
Okay.
So we can,
Good, and I think I've been talking to Laura about a few things. I think we might even like work up some day trip itineraries, you know what I mean? And make sure y'all are on a list of stops and Cracker Bees and the Buzz. People love stores where they can find stuff for repurpose or something that you need. And I think we have that, and I think we need to come up with some day trip things. You know what I mean? Wanda's ready with her thing. Okay, Wanda, go ahead. That's right.
Okay, whoa. You're getting ahead of me. As we'll be working on our budget in 2 or 3 months,
Mhm.
I haven't forgot the 10 for for the county. And since our new alderman is at business, could he get us a quote on putting metal barn 10 on the county?
I think we might be able to work something out, but I think we gotta be really careful. There's no conflict or benefit, you know what I mean?
But we can get a price.
Have to be very transparent, yeah.
We gotta have a price
Yeah.
first.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Barn-
Okay.
Barn 10, that's what you all said,
Gotta
but
be very careful.
Yeah, I was gonna do that, but I was told it was a conflict of interest.
okay, well,
And I wasn't part of the town
okay,
meeting, so.
We'll just have to be very transparent to make sure that everything.
yeah, you want barn 10, right?
Okay,
Yeah, we could do some other things that would kind of not take away from the county, just give the prices on it.
Okay, and if you wanna get in touch with me, I mean, I can get a price. You don't wanna say, you don't have to buy it. You know what I mean, but I can get you.
If you do the cabin, you're gonna have to do the little building inside of it because it's leaking.
Is it leaking too?
Yeah.
How about the bathroom? Is that what you're
It's
talking about?
not in the bathroom, it's more or less on the porch, part of it, and you can see it looks like maybe it might be starting to drop something. So, and it's that big tree, you know, hanging on it.
Okay.
And you can come by sometime when you got time. We can talk about what type of well you want to.
okay, are you okay there? Okay, that's all right, that's all right. That's fine, you gotta jump in and slow me down. Okay, now.
The planning commission and the board of zoning appeals did not have a meeting in February due to no agenda items. But both boards did meet jointly on February the 8th for a work session for information sharing.
Mhm. We did, okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mountain Harvest Kitchen, I believe you have some information in your packet. I'm aware of two things that Brandon shared with me. He just was doing an interview with a potential client who, only speaks Spanish, does not have fluent English, and all the conversations he's had to have with this person, he has to call an interpreter service, which is free, but to have the conversation, but this person is really interested in getting some time and space at the kitchen. That was really good. And he's also been contacted by an online culinary program. I'm not not sure where they're based out of, but periodically they will need a physical site to be able to have students come and actually hands-on some of the skills that they're teaching and practicing. And so they were checking us out as a potential site to either proctor checkoffs or, be able to observe the students performing certain skills in the program. And so I think that would be really good too. And it'd be intermittent, it wouldn't be all day. So I think that would be a good thing too. Just saying, there's some creative things happening. Okay,
Well,
so,
one of the things, I've been keeping an eye on the kitchen, and our revenue is going down with 4 customers. And our.
AJ left, that's one of our big.
I know, anyway, our electrical costs are going up, and I'm gonna take a look at it with Brandon next week, hopefully. See what we can do to get our expenses down a little bit.
All right, and then, Parks and Rec. Everything at all.
So right now, our main priority is Strawberry Festival. We've been getting vendor applications in. As of February 13th, we had 29, and then 22 sponsors, but obviously that has grown since then. We do have all of our music performers scheduled, and our shirts and for the logo and the colors that we'll have are finalized. Something new that we'll be doing this year is offering big sizes. Freedom Fest, we do have some bands reserved for that, along with stage generator for the parties, logistics and stuff. And like I said earlier about the school we'll be making more plans later on once that's more finalized. I've also been doing a lot on the website, just kind of making it more cohesive and user-friendly. I know that was an issue in the past, but that's coming along on schedule. I will be wanting to meet with the departments to discuss more of what would be included on their page. And I can also meet with like the Buffalo Valley History Association and Alderman as well, if you have anything specific that you would like included. Another thing is the advertising. We have purchased space in Smoky Mountain Living and Blue Ridge Motorcycle Magazine. Kind of spacing it out through the rest of this year and into the next fiscal year. The budgeting coming in on since I started, coming in on a majority budget that this publication reaches a large audience. It's a good way to kind of get our name out for people to come and visit more often. That's all I have.
You've been busy. Thank you. Well, before I go any further, I'd like to cut people off before. Are we good? Okay. Deputy Mom, are we good? Okay, all right. Then we will go to the police department report.
As far as the police department this month, we've had 6 accidents, 3 arrests, 26 citations, and I think I've got misprint in my reports. I've got 60, and I don't think it's that high, so I'll correct that. Our drug fund, you will see a substantial deposit in it. This last month, we were working the case with the town of Harwood, and us were the gentlemen coming through and have big cash and fraudulent checks. And this is not just here, it's been throughout the Tri-Cities and pretty much across the United States. I've been in discussions with the FBI. They have a case taken, but you will see $11,100 that will be in the drug fund. It's pending seizure right now with the hearing. Throughout the month, we've had quite a few cases that I'm not going to discuss in open meeting, but if any board members would like to sit down with me and talk about it, we can. We've had another occurrence up here on Highline, tires being done. That is actively being worked on with some things happening. As far as that, that's pretty much what's going on right now. Much,
There's a lot of walk-in traffic down there as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Nick. All right, municipal court report.
Okay, this is collections for the month of January. Total payments, for this report is $314.75. Litigation tax is $26.95. Department of Safety fines, $4.75. Municipal training, $1.90. And $75 for CSI fees. So the net disbursement for revenue is $206.15. The tickets, we had a total of 16. One was a violation of proof of insurance law, improper display of tags, we had 2 of those. One run stop sign, and we've had a total of 10 speeding tickets, 1 violation of parking where prohibited, and 1 light law violation.
Thank you. And we have worked on trying to make that more consistent with the municipal court report and schedule fees, just cleaning that whole process up. Some Tiffany's been working on that, and Cindy has been working on that. So thank y'all for that. Okay, reporter report, sorry.
Let's see, January the 25th, the BMA met for a work session to discuss the 22 fiscal year end audit. We reviewed the 6-month year-to-date financials, discussed the ARPA funds and how they're being distributed, and we discussed the renovation of the EMS annex and discussed Massachusetts Avenue. We also reviewed personnel policy, and the mayor and I went over some revisions for the alcohol and drug policy for consolidation purposes. So I sent that back down to UTM task for them to make those changes. January 31st, Timothy Branson with EXL Overland Solutions auditing firm came to town hall to review our payroll records. The workers' compensation insurance policy, which is through PEP, estimates the insurance premium. Overland Solutions audits the payroll records to determine your actual exposure. So each department has a rate associated to their exposure, and that is used to calculate what we pay for workers' compensation. So we had a good audit. January 31st, the mayor and I met with Arnie Riggs, owner of Black Diamond Market, and Amber Orlowski, county municipal planner with First Tennessee Development District, to discuss plans for this piece of property right out here that he bought across the street from Black Diamond, which, you know, the Joneses have the next lot, and then it's the next lot that he has purchased. He plans to gravel the property so tractor trailers can park there overnight. This would be for 2 to 3 tractor trailers, I believe is what he said. And because of this being in the planned business district, then Mr. Riggs will need to go before the planning commission to submit a site plan reference in section 410 of the site plan review. And town municipal zoning ordinances, pages 29 through 30, that shows a list of requirements that must be met by the property owner before the town will issue a building permit. We received a letter from Sheriff Mike Hensley that they have had to suspend all their work performed by the inmates of the Unified County jails. This means that the trash pickup that has been performed by these inmates at the Strawberry Festival and Freedom Fest will not be available. So we'll have to make some other accommodations for that. Update on the TDOT North Indian Creek Bridge Replacement Project. We have learned that there will not be any access to the front of the parking spaces in front of Town Hall and around to the right. That will be blocked off. I do have a diagram if anybody wants to look at it. So the traffic will be in and out on the left side of Town Hall and then in the back. As you remember, we did approve the ATM for Litchfield Credit Union to be put there at the end of the building. So that's going to be, you know, another issue there. I think they're also doing the turning lane, bridge replacement and turning lane right there. So I don't know if they're going to park equipment in our parking lot. Really didn't say, but they did say that there's going to be, this is a 3-year window. So you don't know when they're going to start, and you don't know when they're going to end. February 7th, Dwight Harrell, Vice Mayor Cooper, and myself met with Amy Miller with TEMA, which is Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, State National Flood Insurance Program Coordinator, to discuss floodplain management and permitting guide. And I think she said we would start with an ordinance. I haven't heard from her yet. We did receive the invoice from First Tennessee Development District, and the check was written for $102,442.75. That was for the Northeast Tennessee Regional Recovery Center. So this will be reflected in our February financials, not in the ones we'll review next. Blackburn Children's Hospital came in and reviewed 6 months worth of journal entries and bank statements and financial records. February 22nd, we did a BMA work session and discussed roads and tiles and ditches and the interlocal agreement with the Unified County Highway Department. We are still waiting on guardrails for paving bridge, and this will be done whenever Terry can do some paving. Has to be done at the same time. He told me the other day, probably the middle of March. And then we're, scheduling some, guardrails to be put down there at the, where the accident was, and go down about 80 feet, I think.
Debbie,
That,
I would recommend that guardrail go all the way down to the pump station, not just go 80 feet. That's my recommendation to the board. I've looked at it several times. It needs to go on down.
how much feet is that?
I don't know. Didn't measure it. It needs to go on down. To be safe, it needs to go on down.
I'll go around, I can't even begin to estimate what it is going to be through there or farther. I'll have to.
Well, I did say 80 feet, which was, I think, 20 more feet than what Terry said that we needed, so, you know.
But if you'll take a hard look at it, you can still go off very easily. So you can take it on down farther, it'll be a whole lot safer. And if we're gonna do it, let's do it right.
Would you like to give an update on EMS?
200?
Would you like to give an update on the EMS?
Oh, yeah, I will. We've had our rough plumbing inspection, it approved by Dwight Harrell yesterday. They're gonna start sheet rocking the kitchen area next week. We've got our first 2 layers of sheet rock on the sleeping room. Our fireproof doors put in, our exterior windows removed, doors put in. Hopefully, Williams Garage Door told me that our garage door installation will be here Monday, and they're gonna start on that hopefully Monday or Tuesday. So maybe by the end of next week, we'll be a long ways to finishing that facility. So everything sort of come together all at once.
Thank you. I was just gonna say that, we have about $35,000 worth of POs that are still pending, not been paid. You know, so that it shows us being encumbered. And I think we budgeted about $84,500 for that building. So pretty much our balance is around $763,000, I think, left in the ARPA funds, with another $35,000 coming out for that. And then we have designated $325,000 for the school renovation of the gym. And then $19,000 was committed for digital police equipment. And then we have the $20,000 in administrative charges for First Tennessee Development District.
Has the school requested their money yet?
No,
And I told them to wait, because we were earning pretty good interest. What?
Mayor, would you like to give an update on the CDBG?
We need we probably need 250, 200 at least more surveys. And those surveys, we have to have like 10% of what our population is, so we needed 300 and something. They probably have 100 and something right now, but when they go through them, some of them get cold for one reason or another. I have gotten every survey I can get out of Telemon. I have gotten, including staff, I've gotten probably 2/3 of the school survey. The others, people just don't want to fill out a survey and put their income on it. But we're 200 surveys short, and I'm willing to go door to door, and I've talked to Jay about going door to door with me. It's gonna have to happen, and if I'm the only one willing to go door to door, I don't know if I can get 200. Okay, so you've gotta get these surveys. Now, the surveys, when they're all totaled and laid out there, 51% of them have to meet a low income level. So without sounding like I'm targeting anyone, I've got to go to the places where at least my perception is maybe their income is less than a certain amount. It's not, I have thought about this so much. The whole process to me is I don't know how they expect you to get this information. It's voluntary, people don't want to give it. We had surveys turned in that they say, I don't want to put my income on there, but you didn't need to even bother filling out the top of it then. You know, I mean, that's the whole point. I had asked Tiffany, and she had gotten in touch with a couple of churches. I thought maybe they could get their congregations. You know, they could come out and understand why we needed this, and they feel safe answering it when coming back. But we did get surveys out to a couple of churches. I think Tiffany said she might be willing to go down tonight to the dinner at the Methodist church and try to grab, you know, anytime she can to fill out a survey. I don't know what else to do. I know Wanda said she gave them out to her folks that rent in the home park 100, but they don't want her to know what their income is. I'm afraid she's gonna raise their rent. I mean, that's, I don't know. I don't know how to get these. I don't, other than going door to door knocking, and they still may not get them.
I told them to take it at town hall. I told every one of them, you know, you can take it at town hall.
And
They said they would, doing this.
I know that if we're gonna go for this money to help run Massachusetts, that's what we're looking at. So I'm open for ideas. And I mean, I'll do the door to door thing, but I don't know that I can get too moving.
Even the Ruritans sent it out to the.
They handed them out when they did their fish fries. They're at the bank. There's some at the post office. Maple Grove. It's one per household.
What's the difference?
Pardon me?
The deadline.
Well, they gotta have time to sort through, so.
And we posted it on Facebook.
And, okay. So I don't know, I mean, if anybody else has any other ideas. I'm open to hear them. I don't know how we're gonna get it. What?
Most of them people just rely on the income, they don't put out what they want.
We need it to be low, yes.
What you sent home with your kids to school?
They did. That's what they did. To work on Massachusetts repair.
Yeah, I know. You know.
$639,000. That's the max you can get. We're not gonna get it. Well, probably 20 or less. Which a lot of retired folks.
What do they consider?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They didn't give me a dollar amount. You know, all the dollar amounts are listed on the surveys. And they're just supposed to check a range. I don't know, I mean. Is that any ideas?
Give them, maybe if you leave them after school, just give them.
I've got some of them, and I've got 3 right now that turn in, but that's, people said, well, I picked them up here, I know about, you know, when the real pants out of the banner or something, you know. But I've got a stack of them that's stolen, but look at it. But I think a lot of people just has to put down their income.
Yep.
And if we want anybody to, like, hedge their income, we want them to hedge no. So, and people have a tendency to hedge high, I think, to feel better, so.
So we're still about 150, yeah,
Probably at least
and you have to have 70% that's low.
51%.
51.
And I don't know what the market
You don't
for
know
low
what
income
the
is.
You don't know.
The rest.
Pardon me?
You don't know what the cutoff is.
I don't know the exact dollar amount, because it has to do with how many people are in your household. It can change depending on how many people are in your household, what your income is, whether it's considered low or whatever.
It has an increment below 70 and then it has 70,000 more. Has it broken down?
But they have to be in the first month. Is that?
Well, that's when Personality Development wants them, because they've got to process through them.
They got so long to make that the right, to come in for this.
Anybody got any ideas?
if you had projects, you could get it. Maybe, if you had projects,
What do you mean?
housing, housing, you don't have any of that, see.
Well, I think we have the numbers we need,
Not going.
but we can't, yeah. So if anybody has any brilliant ideas, let me know. Yes, Judy.
Is there any way to do it in front of the laptop, do it online, so we make see it? Cause I got the same trouble with people I've asked, they just said, but I make sure nobody's business. And they just don't do it.
Do they drive up and down Massachusetts?
But if they just put it in a computer, that's not free, it wasn't piece of paper.
What are you gonna carry, a laptop door to door?
I'm just saying.
I mean, would that be,
I
you think what it would look like?
asking you with that.
well, no, your idea of the laptop is causing me to go to the next question. Do you think it would look like us carrying a laptop door to door and have Cindy look on it? I mean, do you think they would feel any better about it then? I'm not gonna be looking at it. First and second,
But they don't know that.
I know.
They just don't, you know, it was funny about there.
So I guess we might as well, we can tell First Tennessee Development District, we're not gonna go for that money. If we can't get the surveys, there's no point in us trying for the money. I'll give it one last ditch effort, see what we can do. If anybody wants to go with me, join me.
Wouldn't the people on that street have a vested interest in getting these surveys?
Yeah, there's not gonna be enough, but yes.
I mean, if you told me I was gonna get my street fixed, if I did this, I'd get a bunch of them that go around. Put the burden on them, it's their street.
Can you use the census stats to give it to them that way?
I wasn't told I could do that. I was told I had to get the surveys.
But I mean,
I was told I had to get the surveys.
but that census stat, I would work.
I was told, we know that the elementary school is over 51% free and reduced. And we try to get all those families, but that's still not enough number. We still need 300,
This is one per household, right?
one per household.
See, there, last year, there was just over 300 children in that school, plus around 50 teachers and support in the school.
And there's multiple children.
I know, but still, a
Yeah.
lot of these.
We got 100 or so from the school. We got a good many from the school, probably over 50. They did really well for us, and I got every family but one from Telemon.
School system pass them out,
I think they put them in kids' backpacks, and then they have a mass communication system with parents. And there's a letter on the front explaining what it is. And I think they communicated out by mass, because I asked Mr. Riddell, would you go for it one more time, and he did, and I think he got about 11 more. So, anyway, if anybody's got any ideas, I've put down on my calendar, I don't know what the weather's gonna look like, but I thought about Saturday, I may start wandering. And I could do some wandering on Tuesday the 28th, if anybody wants to.
Yeah, you're not gonna get it.
I mean, I don't wanna sit here and say I'm just not gonna get it, but I'll give it my best effort, but.
Well, it comes right down to it, urban utilities is the ones that we're looking at. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's no mystery. We had a good road until they come down to the middle of it with the sewer. And then I've said forever, where was the state inspector that's supposed to be, you know, you got a multi-million-dollar job, where's the inspector at? To make sure this is done right. But it comes back to urban utilities. They come down the middle of our road, just like Swain. You know, it's the same mess. So, you know, people that do that for a living and went to school to know how to do it, it should have been done right. So, and if they build all them houses down there, like I said before, urban utilities will get all the tax, they're gonna get all the revenue for every month. The county's gonna get all property taxes from the houses. So, looks like they'd step up and say, hey, we'll fix your road, but we're gonna get all the money out of it. And you're gonna get the traffic. I mean, gee. I mean, we're trying to figure out how to get the money to fix it, and we're not getting the revenue. But the bottom line is, we had a good road till they come down to the middle. We never had a bad road. That road was solid, rock solid.
They didn't want to get easements on property owners.
You know, I mean, it's easier to come down to the middle of the road.
Okay,
You know, cat's a cat.
I don't disagree. It walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, it's a duck. Yeah.
Maybe it's time to approach.
And you know, it's easier for them to go down the middle of the road, but look what we got there.
All right, we will beat this dead horse. Let's go for financial report. I'm sorry, we could beat this dead horse. It already states.
Okay, on the general fund balance sheet, current, cash is about $1,705,000. And, like I said, the opioid money will hit the February financials, which will be a big hit for $102,000 coming off that cash. And then looking at the general fund, the January, actual numbers, for revenue, we have, 178,323. And expenses for January was $178,111. So net income was $61,212. Year-to-date revenue is $1,042,821. Expenditures were $883,539 with a net income of $159,282. We move on to Mountain Harvest Kitchen, we're studying the statement. For the month of January, the revenue was $1,945. Their expenses were $3,431, and that was a net income loss of $1,487. Year-to-date, $24,086, and expenditures are $38,218. So a net income loss of $14,132. And no activity really in January for the drug fund. It's about the same. As Nick mentioned, there would be $11,000 that would be showing up in the February financials. Confiscated seized funds pending based on the outcome of that. And when we get word that becomes the county employees, it will go into the bank account as cash. As far as the local option sales tax, year-to-date so far, we have $517,433, $83,357 for the month of January. We had $99,502 for January the previous year, so it's a fairly big drop. For state share taxes for the month of January, $37,536. The previous year was $35,933. So year to date for 22-23, we have $261,860, and that's all I have.
I was talking with Travis Bishop today about a variety of things and financial impasse. And we were talking about the state share tax, and they are still trying to work through legislation. And if that actually does get through all its committees, actually passes, we could look at about a $70,000 addition to recoup some of the shared sales tax money for a period of time. And that would help us, 70,000 would certainly help us. The other thing about the tax holidays, for Governor Lee's proposed a grocery tax holiday for 3 months in the fall. And I was asking some other folks that I know that live in a town that has no municipal property tax. It hurts us worse than anybody else, and his understanding was we could still collect our local option sales tax, but we couldn't collect the state tax. So I think everything is set up in the air. I don't even know really knows what the bottom line is, but we are looking at potentially getting $70,000 if they'll pass that share tax legislation. Okay, good, anyway. Okay, all right. So financial report, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the financials.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Does anybody have any further questions related to the financial report? Hearing none, Ms. Kessler will vote.
Alderman Lemon,
Yes.
Alderman McIntyre,
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Rowland.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Any announcements?
Well, I'd like to mention that the, Tony and Danny got the Malley Bridge cleaned up. And they're waiting on the fire department to get over wash it out. And we're going to get that painted. And I'm gonna talk to Charlie Haynes about getting the trees pulled up, sycamore trees. What is it? It's eroding people's property away there. And we're gonna make that look good because there's a lot of traffic that goes through that. And then I was glad to hear about the accommodation for Nick because I told him before, I said, you know, you put a personal touch on Unicorn. And I think that's what we need. So, yeah, I think we all pull together and we get it done somewhere.
Right.
Thank you.
All go the same direction. Thank you. All right, any other announcements?
May 13th, we're going to be having a going away thing for Aaron. He is going to be going, it'll be from 5 to 11 here at Buffalo. But he's going to be going, I think it's 430 some odd days that he's going to be out of the country, serving. So, y'all can vote with us. It's a little ways out, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of put that out there. And he don't know nothing about it, so. What y'all know about that?
Thank you, Dan. I told the alderman in the work session yesterday that we need to get that message out to a larger crowd, everybody in the town. Okay, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Yes.
Done. You hardly got the word finished out of my mouth, but he's
What you see there is actually only monthly.
yeah.
Because I only put them, they only give you 10 to 20 hours a week. So therefore I get no state holidays, no vacation, no bonuses, no nothing.
No, none of that.
That's okay. I'm not doing this, so.
There's a lot out there.
That's actually, must be that.
There's a lot out there.
It's amazing how many people have been going years, and suddenly they go, "Can I do something?"
Like, probably.
They didn't. And it's amazing, you come out of woodworks.
Well, once word gets around, there's somebody out there helping them.
92.
Because,
In 2002, they started.
yeah.
We never had.
A lot of
Guess
people,
what?
I mean, they're all nice black, or like black. Do you know what I mean? For today.
Yeah.
Okay. He's looking for 413, yes.
Yeah. She goes to her, well, she is perfect.
I said, it's gonna be about 6 weeks.
That they can be added, it's in homes.
Couple days later.
I'll write that down.
That, camping trailers. Yeah, that, I think it's 413, I believe that's what it is. We need that thing.
Bye, ladies.
See ya. Thanks, see ya.
You got your copy? Okay.
That's easy. There's two, three things we need to I've heard there's a lot of people living in campers.
Yeah.
That they would be grandfathered in. What's that?
That's a copy of the diagram. It's like you're closing off the parking lot.
Oh.
The Black Diamond? No.
No, yeah, town hall.
Refresh my mind. Refresh my mind.
I have two ideas. They might not be very good ideas.
Don, please.